Do you often think I need to start investing, but I have no idea how I can make it happen? Or you have the intention to start investing, knowing that you need to do it for your future, but it just seems like it's just so far out of reach? Well, today in this video, I'm going to share with you some tips on just how to overcome those issues and how to get started. So, hi, I'm Michael Scarbossa. I'm a personal finance enthusiast. I've had a career in railway construction engineering for over 20 years. And my goal here is to make money simple for you, sharing simple, actionable, step by step strategies to help you shortcut your path to retirement and get your money management under control. So that is why I created this community: save, invest, and grow your money. I've been researching this topic for well over 20 years of my personal time to get financial success for my family and make the right investing choices. And I've realized that I know a hell of a lot there that I could share with you out there to help you on your journey, to help you make those smart investing decisions for your family, to create your family's wealth and to create yourself the lifestyle that you really want. Anyway, so getting back to today's topic about getting you started in investing, and when's the best time to get started in investing? And I'll just share a slideshow I've got here today. Um, Hopefully that's up there now. The best time to get started investing, of course, today. It's always today, okay? You can't get started yesterday. That's gone. But today you can. And I'm going to talk about today why why you should do that. So, firstly, a lot a lot of reasons why people don't get started on their investing journey is because of their money excuses. So, there are plenty of reasons why people don't start, and I'm going to run through some of those money excuses here today, and you may be able to identify with one or many of them at some point in my lifetime, in my investing career. I've identified with all of these things, so I'm certainly speaking from experience when it comes to these elements. So here are some of the more common answers that I get when I talk to people who are struggling to get started investing or to invest consistently. The number one thing that comes up is time. Now, particularly if you're a bit younger, so we're say in your 20s or even in your early 30s, a lot of people think that they have time on their side. Investing for the future is not really a priority for them. They think, I've got plenty of time to sort this out and recover. I'm young, I'm having a good time. It's just not really in people's thought processes to start investing, thinking they have lots of time. They think, in the future I'm going to earn a lot more money, or I'm going to create a business or a sideline business that creates a lot of money, and I'll be able to supercharge my investments and I'll be able to catch up time. So the most important thing in investing is time. And the reason that is because of compound interest. Okay. So the beauty of compound interest is, over time it grows, and it grows exponentially. So the earlier you start, the impact on the back end when you want that money in the future from exponential growth is going to be absolutely massive. So, and later in this video, I'll share some examples on what that looks like. So time is really key when it comes to investing. Okay. So just on time alone is one of the reasons why you should find some way to start investing today, this week, this month. Okay. Whatever your pay packet comes in, make sure you start. So money excuse number two that I often hear is just simple lack of money. Okay. So people are living their lives. A lot of people I talk to are living paycheck to paycheck. They don't have any margin in their life to save or invest. Occasionally they do maybe make some sporadic savings, or they get a bonus. A lot of people then go and spend that bonus on a holiday or something that's not going to grow their money for the future. Um, and this is the key thing: having that lack of money. Now, when it comes to investing, I see investing as important as paying your rent or your mortgage. Okay, you need a roof over your head, and there's only one of two things that's going to get you that roof over your head. If you own your own home, it's paying your mortgage, or if you don't, it's paying your rent. Now, think about this as the roof over your head in the future, okay? Because at some point you may be going to want to increase your lifestyle, which means you'll need more money to do it. At some point, you will want to retire from your job, and you might want to retire from what you do earlier than where you can access your retirement funds, or you access your retirement funds. Okay, now The thing is that you need to have a look at those numbers and go, okay, if I'm just sitting back and going to collect from my super 401k pension, whatever it is, wherever you live in the world, when you get to that point in time, you're actually going to have enough money. You really need to have a think about that. So this is in getting a little bit of leverage on yourself around lack of money. You're going to need that in the future, so you need to pay yourself first now. Okay, so when you get your monthly payment every month, or monthly income or weekly income or whatever it is. Usually your rent or your mortgage is on a monthly basis, maybe it's a weekly basis. Okay, you pay that, but one of the other payments you set up is automating some investment funds into a separate account that you can go and invest. Okay, so that is really key. Pay yourself first. This is not a new concept, guys. I'm just spreading the message, but it's very, very important. And then fit your living around that. Okay, so if your living at the moment is taking up all of your money, then I would say you are in a phenomenon called living beyond your means. Okay, so living within your means means putting away a little bit for the future as well. Okay, um, money excuse number three that I hear very, very regularly, and it's simple as confusion or thinking that investing for the future or managing your money is complicated. Well, it depends what you're looking at, okay? It can get very, very complicated. But for the most of us, we don't need to complicate it. There are very simple strategies and plans that we can put in place today that can grow your money for the future. Absolutely. Um, and I know this, people are there. You're seeing in the media, you're hearing from people at maybe at work or friends or whatever about, investing in types of shares or types of property or, mutual funds or hedge funds or all this crazy stuff that's out there. Okay. Um, but it's really simple. You just need to get yourself educated. By sitting here today, listening to this video, is you starting that education journey. Hopefully, I'm helping you along that path. And it's just finding out what the simplest plan is for you to start on to get yourself some momentum in investing for the future. Okay. The fourth thing that I hear regularly is fear. So a lot of people get paralyzed. Actually, some people actually have some savings and have some considerable savings, but they leave it sitting in cash because they're afraid that they don't have the education. I don't know what's the right choice to take. So this is linked with that confusing and thinking it's complicated on where to invest their money. So they're worried about investing poorly, investing in the wrong thing, losing money, maybe not getting the returns that they could get in the long run. Having money locked in illiquid in a liquid investment, like for property example. Property is a long-term investment. There's a lot of funds and cost to acquiring property, but it's an incredible investment vehicle over the long term. There's no doubt about that. Though one of the important things is buying the right property. If you don't buy the right property, if you buy the wrong property in the wrong area, and you know, you're in a property that underperforms the market year on year, then that's a really scary place to be because it's not easy to get out of that and make money. So I absolutely understand why fear is there. So you've just got to think about what of those money excuses are you telling yourself? Okay, think about it, write it down. I mentioned four. Time, lack of money, confusion, thinking it's complicated, and well, confusing and thinking it's complicated, and fear. So sit down, get a notebook, write it down, and just write out what you think around each of these things. The first step is to acknowledging what you think around each of these factors, and then you can start doing some research, just spending a little bit of time and getting a plan in place to unpick these fears and money excuses for you. So just moving on. Another big factor is getting leverage on yourself. Okay, so understand your money excuses, but getting leverage on yourself. Getting leverage on yourself is the number one thing you can do to help you start investing. So, what do I mean by getting leverage on yourself? Well, you need to understand why you're investing in the first place. You need to create that desire or urgency of why you must find a way to start investing. Why you must find a way to be systematically removing each of your money excuses, so you can build your confidence around managing your money appropriately, investing your hard-earned cash smartly without taking unnecessary risks in high-risk investment. So how do you gain that leverage on yourself? So, like I said, the key thing is understanding why you're investing. Having the end in mind. What are your specific goals for investing for the future? Just saying you're investing for the future to be wealthier and have more money is not enough. You need to be really specific about this and really understand your why. So, what does your future look like? I'm going to just run through a couple of these key questions here, for yourself to, take these questions, get out a pad, paper, journal, whatever, write these questions down and just write your answers out and get some clarity around this. So the first thing is, what are you looking for? What's your end game? Okay. So what's your future look like? You're looking to eventually, supplement your income to help afford things like private school fees for your kids, to make a contribution to be able to, in the future, be able to afford your dream home. Are you looking for your investment income to replace your current income? Um, are you looking for an early retirement from the career that you're currently in because you don't really enjoy it? Are you looking for that to create some margin so you can go and have the ability to make a career change where the income might not be there in the beginning of what you're used to be able to create a sideline business? What is it you're more interested in? Spend time around what you're more interested in. Have more flexibility in your life. So, spend time with what you're interested in and maybe work a bit less, or have, not have to go 9 to 5 to an employer every day. Um, so the next thing you need to really understand is what's your annual number to get there. So once you understand what you're trying to achieve, you need to work out, okay, what's it going to cost you? What's the income that you're going to need to sustain what you're going after? And I've done plenty. I've done some videos on this in the past. You can go back and find them, but you just need to sit down and work out. And one of the simplest ways to do it is go, what's your monthly expenses now? That's bang, done, plain and simple. Get out your credit card statement, your bank statement, wherever you're spending your money every month. Work out, okay, what's that monthly number? Factor in some of those maybe larger periodic expenses that are quarterly or annually, like your insurances, and just understand what that number is. Understand the future. Have you got large school fees coming? Have you got large school fees actually stopping? There might be a negative there. So just understand what's the ultimate goal. What number are you heading for? Because it's just like anything, all right? If you're going to go traveling somewhere, you got to have a destination. There's no same with investing. You got to know what your destination is. Okay. Um, the other way to really get leverage on yourself is what does the future look like if you actually don't start investing? So, if you don't start investing, life is unlikely to change from where it is now from a financial situation for you. Just think about that. Are you willing to stick with the status quo the way your life is currently? If you are, then great. That's all good. But if you aren't, then you're probably going to get more and more frustrated in time. You're going to lose self confidence. You're going to beat yourself up. And that's not good for anyone. Okay. Really think about ultimately what it will cost you in the future if you don't do something about this, if you don't start investing. Is Are you going to be living with huge regret? Could it cost you your relationship or your marriage? Have you got financial goals together with your partner, and if you don't achieve them, that's going to put immense financial stress on your relationship. Financial stress is a massive factor. It's one of the major reasons why people get divorced. That financial stress is a very, very real challenge for many, many people. Is it, the respect of your kids? What are your kids going to think if you don't help create a great life for your family? What example are you setting for your kids? Think about that. So really think about what's the downside of doing nothing. This is, a bit of carrot we talked about before. Now we're talking about a bit of stick here. It all works, carrot and stick. Okay. All right. Now the fourth big question you should ask yourself is, do you understand where your retirement funds contributions are actually taking you? So here in Australia, we have superannuation. In the States, you have your 401k. In the UK, you have your pension. Um, we all have those facilities where we're contributing to on as part of our income all of the time on a weekly, monthly basis, whatever that is, and building our retirement funds for us for the future. But if you stop to have a look about where that's heading, when you can access that retirement fund, If it's 60, 65 when you can access it, how much money are you going to have on your current run rate or plan by the time you get to that point in time? Is it actually going to make your number, your annual number? I think you'll find, and this is a lot of people, that there's a gap there. Okay, there's absolutely a gap there. So you got to think of a way of, okay, how can I step towards that number, whether it be investing outside of your super or putting extra contributions into your super. There are options there, and particularly in Australia, there are some great tax advantages to putting extra contributions into your super. That is really worth investigating. So just wrapping up, in gaining leverage on yourself, it is really understand why you're investing, what you're looking to achieve, knowing your number, and knowing that you're going to get there, and understanding what your current investments are doing, which will be your retirement funds. We all have at least that. Okay. So just moving on, I just want to go to little bit of an example of what it costs you for not starting on your investment journey. So I'll just move on to my next slide here. Now, this is a website on the Australian government website called moneysmart.gov.au. It's a compound interest calculator. It's really simple. I've got a link here for you. I'll put it in the comments under this video so you can find it easy. Go have a play for yourself, okay? So I've just got a little bit of a worked example here to help you through what this looks like. So you can see on the, just let me you can see on the left-hand side here, I've put in a little bit of a strategy, and so you can put in your initial deposit. So here I've said, initial deposit's $300 a month. I actually like to invest a lot more than that. I think we should all be aiming for at least 10% of our monthly income investing. I'm beyond 20, which is good. I like to do that. 20 is a great number. Just depends what you can afford, how much you're willing to sacrifice for your life right now to get what you want in the future. So that's a personal decision for everyone. It all has trade-offs and consequences either way. Okay, trade-offs and consequences for the way you live life today, trade-offs and consequences for what life will be like in the future, depending on how much money you can save away. So if we just start with a simple strategy of $300 a month, so his initial deposit there of 300, a regular deposit of 300, just going through this chart on the left-hand side of the page. We do that monthly. Let's say we're going to do that for 15 years at a growth rate of 7% per annum, which is certainly achievable. That's pretty much the average. I think the average growth of property and the share market in Australia is beyond that. It's up around 8%. So that's certainly achievable. So you can see there that just looking on the right-hand side here, the column under your strategy, in 15 years' time, between your regular deposits and the compound interest that you will gain. So that's the light blue color on this graph. The dark blue is your deposits. The light blue on all the bars is the interest income that's compounding. You can see how that's increasing over time. And in 15 years' time, you'll have a total of $96,000 for argument's sake. Now, I just wanted to show a bit of an example of if you don't start. So let's say you delay your start by 5 years and you're thinking, okay, well, that's all good. I'll delay my start by 5 years. But I actually think I can catch this up. I can catch this up. I'm going to invest more in the future because I'll have more income, and you're just going to make that plan. So even if you delayed this by 5 years and increased your regular deposits by $500 a month, you're still not going to get there. Okay. So at that same point in time, in 15 years, by not investing for the first 5 years, but going, I'm going to supercharge this, I'm going to catch it up over time. I'm going to go from $300 to $500 a month. You're getting close, but you're still not getting there. So this is the green bars, the green solid bar or teal solid bar. That's your deposits, and you can see the light teal is your compounding interest, but you're still not getting there. So it's just a nice little example to show late start, deposit more, think you'll catch up, but it's not getting there. Okay. So I just really want to bring this home for you guys, just so you can really understand by what not starting today is costing you. And this particular example, there's a gap. It's not a massive gap, but it's a gap. But think about if you want to double those deposits. Everything here is linear in these numbers. Okay. So If you doubled your deposits to 600 a month, then that would be $190,000 a year for your strategy. But similarly, alternatively, you'll still be lagging. Okay. So I hope you found that really informative. Um, so it's you can clearly see that the cost of not finding a way to start, even start small with some consistent investing. Have a look at your spending, determine what, just remove that. Have a look at your spending, determine what you really don't need or can cut down on right now today. Get out your credit card statement, go through all those expenses, work out, okay, what don't you really need? What can you cut down on? How can you create a little bit of a margin in your money so you can create some margin for investing? That's really important. Okay. So create that margin. Your bonus, don't spend it on a holiday. Spend it on investing. Maybe spend some of it on a holiday, but at least take some of that money and invest it. Okay. Any little bits extra you can invest today, you can see the advantage it's going to give you in the future from that worked example. Um, get that margin, automate it. Automate as soon as you get paid, just like your rent or your mortgage. Automate it. Comes out before you can spend it on your living for your month. Put it into a separate savings account. Create an emergency cash buffer. Build that up to 3 months of living expenses. It's just liberating to have that emergency cash buffer put aside just in case something completely unexpected comes up and you need that little bit of buffer. Once you get that, automate it off into some sort of investment fund. I think a great place to start investing is just a simple low cost index fund. Get on Google, have a search. There's plenty of choices out there. In the past, I've invested in Vanguard index funds quite successfully for myself. Just an example of what I've done. Pardon me. And just invest for the long term. Okay, so in wrapping up, go back through this video. Understand what your money excuses are. Understand where you're starting from, what you need to learn, okay? Go back and have a look at that. Then work out, what are you trying to achieve? What's your number? Get leverage on yourself. Why are you investing? And this will help you make some of those money decisions. It'll help you with your spending decisions. It's about making a choice on what's going to be better for you in the long term. You don't want to leave money on the table. Okay. So not starting investing today, you can clearly see what the cost of delaying that decision is, how much that's actually going to cost you. Create that extra cash, start investing this month, sabotage yourself into success and automate that investment. Okay. Automate it into your emergency fund, then into whatever you choose to invest in. So the best time to start investing is today. Absolutely unequivocally. Don't waste another minute. Don't waste another week. Don't waste another month. So I really hope this video is giving you some food for thought today. I really hope that I've given you some tools and tips and tricks to really think about why you should start investing. Maybe you're already starting investing and you can use these tools and or these tips to fine tune your own psychology around money and be able to build your investments for the future. So thanks very much for joining me today. What I'll also do, I'll leave it in the notes under this, is that link to that compound interest calculator for you, and also a link to my website, michaelscarvossa.com. In there's a free PDF for you of how I went from zero savings to buy my first investment property. Pardon me. It's the bones of a really simple plan that you can start with today. Okay. So thanks very much for listening. Enjoy having you here again, like I do every week, and I'll see you next week. Thanks very much, and bye for now. Bye.